Good afternoon or good morning, everyone. My name is John Sandwick, and I'm dedicating this clip to Mr. Amr Al-Marzougi from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. And this is for Amr's Johns Hopkins University capstone class. Again, my name is Sandwick, John Sandwick, and I am the manager of Safa Investment Services here in Geneva, Switzerland, and in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Safa Investment Services was created a little over a year ago as the world's first Islamic wealth and asset management business. It's quite unique, quite important, but more important is that when you do Islamic asset management, you're doing simply professional asset management, but with respect for the Sharia, the Islamic Sharia. Amr's asked me to answer a few questions. First of all, let me apologize for dressing so casually. It's a beautiful day out here in Switzerland. Sun is shining. Garden is gorgeous. It's Sunday. It's Saturday. And we just came in from a long walk out in the countryside. It's quite lovely. So today it's casual day. Amr asked me, he says, what are your views on the scope of Islamic finance in the Middle East and elsewhere? And let me answer that very quickly. Finance has many different sub-activities. There's, for example, retail banking, corporate banking, investment banking, brokerage and trading banking, and asset management banking. I would say that in Islamic finance, the first four have come to meet global standards. They produce technical and commercial solutions for clients who need to have financial services. But the fifth area, asset management banking, has been miserably left behind. There's been no effort worldwide to organize Islamic asset management like they do in conventional world markets. And that's important because today you have about $85 trillion of assets that are professionally managed, and I would guess about 3 to 4 trillion of that is owned by Muslims. And Muslims do care about their faith. Very important to them to follow the principles of the Sharia. And yet, for that 3 or 4 trillion dollars of professionally managed Muslim-owned money, there is no Islamic asset management. Or I should say there was no Islamic asset management until we created Safa. Islamic finance is not meant to do anything other than to solve the needs of people who need financial services. Nobody wants to sacrifice and get bad banking with a fatwa. So all Islamic finance has to come up to a level of quality of financial intermediation, efficient financial intermediation, that meets the standards everybody would expect everywhere. Just like there is no additional standard for Muslim dentistry or Islamic cell phones, there should be no other standards for Islamic asset management other than the professional global standards we already know in the industry. Islamic asset management, Amr says, what are the main investment products? Well, they're pretty much the same products you'll get in conventional asset management. In conventional asset management, you take the money from a client, whether it's a pension fund, an insurance company, a housewife, a rich sheikh, and you have to do an asset allocation exercise that matches the client's requirements for both risk and reward. So you map out a multi-year future for that person. You look at the initial amount settled. You look at where the client wants that money to go. And statistically and quantitatively, we can analyze what kind of yields and risk we need to achieve over time to achieve those investment goals. And again, if you're a pension fund, achieving those investment goals is not an option. You have to achieve them. If you're an insurance company, you've got annual payouts, both to people who make claims on insurance and shareholders. So Islamic asset management in the construction of asset allocation is no different. What you do, however, instead of choosing the traditional asset classes of cash, fixed income, equities, and alternative investments, in the Islamic space you have to look at the equivalent products, murabaha, which is like a cash-like, deposit-like financial instrument, but fully Sharia compliant. Sukuk, which some people call Islamic bonds because they look and smell and taste and feel like a bond, but they're not. They're fully asset-backed and linked to an underlying long-term asset that produces cash flow. So, again, for money markets or cash, we have murabaha. For fixed income, we have sukuk, not bonds. For equities, we have the world of Islamic equities, and that is about half of global market cap is already Sharia compliant. Many of these companies don't even know that. If you look at the Dow Jones Global Market Average, it's got about 4,500 companies, and those 4,500 companies comprise about 80–90% of global market cap. If you look at the Dow Jones Global Islamic Index, there's about 2,700 stocks in there. They remove financials, and they removed heavily leveraged companies. They also remove, of course, those companies involved in tobacco, firearms, alcohol, etc. What you get is about 60% of global market cap, which is not a perfect set of equities, but it's a good set of equities. You still have at least about 17, 18, 19 trillion dollars in global market cap. For alternative investments, the fourth and final category, you have to remove hedge funds, not allowed, too much speculation. You have to remove derivatives, not allowed. But still, within the universe of alternative investments, there are plenty of real estate funds, commodity funds. We found some alternative strategy funds. What we've done with our SAFA is we've examined, over 5 years, we examined the global landscape for Sharia-compliant investable assets with a good fatwa from a respectable scholar. We found over $100 billion of assets in every asset category. We filtered and sorted and reduced that to about $55 billion in assets, but still almost 400 investable products. And from that, we do means variance testing, in other words, looking at the historic movement of each, the price movement of each qualifying security, and we run that through portfolio optimization software so that we can achieve an asset allocation that is hopefully going to hit somewhere closer on the point of optimality, which, if you remember, is where your capital market line intersects with your efficient frontier. The result is a robust, globally allocated portfolio for an Islamic insurance company, an Islamic endowment, an Islamic corporate treasury, an Islamic household. In other words, Islamic asset management, following the traditional and conventional rules of normal asset management, has been achieved. The client base for this is really every Muslim in the world. You look at families from Kuala Lumpur, you look at treasuries in Pakistan, you look at Islamic endowments in Egypt or Saudi Arabia. Which Muslim does not want his investments to be made according to Sharia? They don't like bonds, they don't like hedge funds, and they shouldn't. So when we talk about who are the clients, I mean, it's literally limited only to the size of the Muslim world. As I said before, Muslims today probably own about $3.5 trillion of global professionally managed assets. Unfortunately, almost none of that is managed according to the Sharia. I'm happy to talk to you today about this. It's a little bit over my allotted time, but Islamic asset management is very serious, it's very real, and it's very much here. Thank you very much from Switzerland. Bye-bye.